of resilience are the most important ways NATO and NATO allies are now supporting each other to prevent anything similar to happen to any other critical energy infrastructure.
Final question, Wall Street Journal.
Dan Michaels with the Wall Street Journal. Coming back to some of the issues already raised, but thanks in large part to support of NATO members, Ukraine has had notable success on the battlefield over recent weeks. But it does seem that the more success Ukraine has on the battlefield, the more erratic, belligerent, and potentially dangerous Mr. Putin becomes. So does this change the way you approach the situation? Does it make you more cautious, or in any way this fact that the better Ukraine does in fighting the Russian troops, the bigger the threats seem to be from Moscow? Thank you.
It doesn't change what we have to do, and that is to support Ukraine. Because if we let Putin win in Ukraine, it will be catastrophic for Ukraine. Ukraine will cease to exist as an independent sovereign nation, but it will also be dangerous for us. It's not as if inaction is not a risk. Inaction is a great risk, because that will create a world where Putin will see that with impunity he can use military force, invade a neighbor, and then establish a sphere of influence. So when you listen to what he has said, not only about Ukraine, but also about members of NATO, Eastern allies, that will be a world that will be more dangerous for all of us. So yes, we are faced with a dangerous war in Ukraine, but it's not as if that war will not be dangerous anymore if we allow Putin to win. In many ways, then we will at least increase the long-term risks for all of us. And that's the reason why we pay the cost of supporting Ukraine, knowing that the price we have to pay if we don't support them, most likely will be much higher. We are monitoring closely what Russia is doing. We haven't seen any changes in their nuclear posture. We are vigilant. We are sharing information. And we have conveyed very clearly to Russia that there will be severe consequences if they use nuclear forces against Ukraine. We also have to realize that we speak about different types of escalation. One thing is escalation within Ukraine. We have conveyed clear message on that. Then, of course, there's also the risk of escalation beyond Ukraine involving other NATO allies. We have also been very clear on that. NATO is not party to the conflict. We support Ukraine, but that doesn't make us party to the conflict. We support a sovereign nation in their sovereign right for self-defense. On top of that, we have also significantly increased our military presence in the eastern part of the alliance. We did so immediately after the invasion, because we were prepared. So that morning of the invasion, we activated all our defense plans from the Baltic Sea to the Black Sea and started the additional deployment of additional troops to the eastern part of the alliance to remove any room for miscalculation or misunderstanding in Moscow about our willingness, our readiness to protect every inch of NATO territory. And more troops in the eastern part of the alliance is sending that message. So NATO's aim, what we are doing, is to support Ukraine, but at the same time preventing escalation by sending a clear message to Moscow about the dangerous nuclear rhetoric and the consequences use of nuclear weapons will have, and by demonstrating our readiness to defend and protect all allies by increasing the presence of NATO troops and sea and naval capabilities in the eastern part of the alliance.
Thank you very much. This concludes this press point.
Thank you.